good for me.
Keep them home for breakfast with Hostess.
The Naked and the Dead, Barbary Shore, the Deer Park, Maryland, the Executioner Song, Of Women and Their Elegance, Ancient Evenings, Tough Guys Don't Dance. Ladies and gentlemen, the author behind these titles and so many more, Norman Mailer. It's good to have you here.
Okay.
You know, we've been talking about how to be a winner at love this morning, and a man who is in his 6th marriage now. I want to ask you, how do you be a winner at love? What's your answer to that question?
I think if you go in and you try to be a winner at love, you're gambling.
Yeah.
And gamblers always lose. You're just fighting the vig.
So
in this case, it's God's irritation that you're going in and trying to win at love. I think love is a reward. And everybody, I spent years of my life going around looking for love as a solution. In other words, if I could only find the right woman who really loved me, then everything would be all right. And it took me until, I don't know, I was 40, 50, whatever, to realize that you never get someone who's going to solve your life by loving you until you've solved your life. See, love is a reward. It's not a solution.
So if you're looking for somebody to solve your problems or to help you through your problems or to help you through life's
then you're fighting the vigorish. You're fighting the 10% that the bookies take and you lose the bet.
You lose.
Well, over the long term,
over the long term,
you win, you lose, you win, you lose, and at the end of the year, you're out some money. You
were just recently quoted in People magazine. I don't know if it was an accurate quote or not, but you say that even a dumb guy like me learns, and you were talking about having been married and going through so many years. What have you learned?
Well, I just told you.
Yeah, basically that's it.
Yeah, what I mean is you cannot. The moment you make that demand on love, the moment you go and you say, love, I want to be a winner, you're in terrible trouble. It is, you know, you can get, love is not it's not a boxing match, it's not a football game. And if you get into condition for it, into training for it, and you get psyched up for it, and you say, this time I'm not going to be a sucker, this time I'm not going to be a victim. Of course you're going to be a victim.
Gets you every time.
You're tense about it.
But you know what, you are a winner because, I think, what do you have, 8 children?
Yeah, I have 9, actually.
9 children.
My present wife has a child.
9 children, 6 different wives. Everybody gets along. There had to have been some problems somewhere along the line.
Well, we don't all get along. The kids get along. I wouldn't say I get along with every last one of my wives.
No, not the wives, but the kids all get along. That's got to be tough.
No, it's half interesting for them because they don't all see each other except in the summertime. So sometimes there'll be 3, 4 months will go by before a particular brother and sister will see each other. And they're kind of, they remain interesting to one another.
Do they all like each other?
Well, in a varying degree. You know, they pal up in different ways.
Do you remember who belonged to whom?
Well, are you trying to imply that I have terrible hangovers?
I'm not trying to imply that, but you know, in everything you read about Norman Mailer, they always talk about your notorious past. For those of us who really don't know what that notorious past, can you tell us about some more notorious moments? Everything I've ever read, Norman Mailer and his notorious past.
Well, I know. I always feel like a medium-sized man at best who's carrying this enormous dinosaur's tail behind him. And once in a while I stop, I say, hey, look, that tail does not really belong to me. Every minute seemed kind of natural as I was doing it.
So you don't think you're so notorious after all?
I didn't spend all those years thinking, well, I'm notorious, I've got to live notoriously. It just happened that way.
Just happened that way?
I always thought I'd never get married once. I'd just have a lot of fun and never get married. And what happened instead is I got married 6 times. It's a little, you know, there's a terrible joke about the mafia that, you know, to the effect that it's only the first killing that's tough, but after that it's easy.
Ooh.
And no.
But you know, somebody was on the show recently and said that, you know, people who get divorced, it's like losing your virginity. You tend to do it over and over and over again. Yes, you're saying the same thing, basically. Yeah. Let's talk about, you know, what you said was so interesting about love. Let's talk about hindsight, or after you get to be your age.
My austere seer.
You tend to look back on the world with some hindsight, and as you do that, and as you look through your 20s and your 30s, what was most important to you then that you know now wasn't?
Well, if I would say I wanted to change the world when I was in my 20s and 30s, I think I still do. It's just that now I know how hard it is. You know, when I was young, I used to think that there was some sort of master plan you could find, and you could legislate it, and then everybody would be happy. And of course, I've come a long way from that. I now think that finally, if we ever do improve the world, and that's the great question in everyone's mind: do we improve it, or does it all blow up eventually? Yeah. That it's going to come through millions upon millions upon millions of individual, what I would say, call witty decisions. In other words, where people are just a little smarter than you expect them to be. Where they take that little step up that we all have in us, but that is not automatic. In other words, I think if the world goes on automatic, we're doomed. In other words, it's going to take the best in all of us to sort of make the world work. But on the other hand, I believe that's absolutely possible.
Is it absolutely possible? Or?
Well, I mean by that, I don't mean it's certain. I mean it's absolutely within
even if everybody's
our possibilities.
Not trying? Even if everybody's not trying?
No, but if more people are trying than not trying, then I think it'll work.
During your 40s and 50s? Well, during your 40s and 50s, as you look back with hindsight, what was important to you then that you don't think is?
I think probably staying alive and doing my work, because I was getting worried about getting into, you know, just messing up my body, messing up my life, getting in too deep, not getting out. You know, there are periods in your life when you just think I'm in a tunnel or I'm in a box and I'm not going to get out of it.
And when you turn 60?
Well, by the time you're 60, you really have to get serious just automatically about a few things. You know, I'm a writer, and there are not many writers who work past 70.
I heard you were a writer, Norman.
Well, I think that's your round. But when you turn, you maybe have 10 years left to write, so you want to make everything count.
Is that why you wrote Tough Guys Don't Dance? We'll come back and talk about Tough Guys Don't Dance in just a moment. AM Chicago. More conversation with Norman Mailer in a moment.
In 1921, Heath introduced a special candy bar, Heath English